So you're playing tank, minding your own business, and your backline gets dove. The first thing that they say is swap to the thing. So then you proceed to swap to the thing, and newsflash, you still lose. A lot of players feel like if you play a counter, you'll automatically win the match. That's not how it works. Counters are only as good as the player. If that Spider-Man is better than your thing, the Spider-Man will still be able to play Spider-Man. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to do and how to deal with these pesky dive characters, whether they are DPS or a tank. That being said, if you're a strategist player as well, I already made a video for the strategists on how to deal with divers, link in the description below. And if you want to know how to deal with each specific diver, I have a video on that as well. Link is also in the description. So hopping into this game, this is the second half of the match. During this half, I adjusted my playstyle to deal with a Black Panther on the enemy team. Now I am going to be playing with Captain America. However, I'm going to explain this as a concept. It does not matter what character you play. I do it with Doctor Strange, I do it with Magneto, I do it with Groot. However, I couldn't find any of those games, so this is one of the best games that I have to showcase what I want to demonstrate to you guys for the concept. Let's go ahead and take you over to my whiteboard. You guys know I like drawing on stuff. That's how I do. So the first thing that you want to do when you're dealing with a diver is you need to understand what the diver wants, whether it's a DPS or it's a tank. Divers have different jobs that they want to fulfill and different roles that they want to fulfill. As I said before, swapping to a specific character doesn't alleviate the problem. If they say swap to the thing, swap to Emma Frost, swap to Penny, if you don't know how to play any of those characters, it's not going to help the situation. So it's not about what you play, it's about how you play. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get into their head. As I said before, you want to understand what they want. So as a diver, what are some things I want? When we understand this little tidbit, we are going to understand how to play against it. So the first thing is going to be, what do divers generally want to do? They want to flank. Okay, pretty simple. We want to flank. Look for picks. Pretty simple. What else? Be a distraction. Right? Because some characters that are divers, whether it's DPS or tanks, don't really necessarily want to get KOs. They just want to be annoying. Like Spider-Man, the way that he gets KOs is way different than how a Magic gets KOs. Magic is more of a burst, I want you right now type of KO. And Spider-Man is more of, I'm going to linger a little bit, play with you, and then I'm going to get you, right? So that's pretty much how it works. So you want to think about how that character behaves. Once you identify these things, it's a lot easier for you to counter it. So there's more to this, but this is just a very good basic foundation. I want you to understand the core basics first, and as you get used to it, you can mold it. Basically, what they're going to be looking to do is they're going to be looking to flank, possibly look for picks, or looking for distractions. When we're looking at a Black Panther, what type of category does this character fall under? Well, he falls under, he might look to flank, right? And he's most likely going to look for picks. This means if we give him the opportunity to, he's going to get a KO on that backline, hands down, unless your backline is really good. And most times, let's be honest, if you're playing solo, they're not. So as a solo player, it's not about carrying your team. You want to be a good team player. And being a good team player is identifying the weakness and trying to address it as soon as possible so you can win your match. In this game, during the second half, it took me a round to figure it out. But during the second half, I was able to identify what was going on. And I was able to adjust my gameplay on the fly. So as I said before, I am playing Cap, but I'm going to demonstrate this from a Magneto and Strange perspective, like a ranged character's perspective as well. But we're going to look at it from Cap first, just so we can get an idea of what I'm talking about. And then we'll take a look at Doctor Strange and Magneto. So as a player, we already know there's only a few ways that a dive character can get to that backline, right? If we zoom out here, there's only a few ways. Now, if you're playing Spider-Man, obviously this dude's just about to sling himself right to the thing. Let's be real, that's how Spider-Man works. But most of the time, the flankers are gonna have to do a couple of things to get to point. There's only a few ways you can get to point. Down the middle, to the left, or to the right. So over there, right? I know for a fact that most players, when they play divers, come from here. Now, this is a Celestial game, by the way. So just for context, this is a Celestial game. So these players are pretty decent. And when it comes to how they approach the point with a dive character, it's usually from this angle. So that's why I'm positioned right here. Because I'm a very mobile heavy character, I can kind of be where I want to, as long as I don't get KO'd. And I'm gonna just hold Black Panther instantly. So let's play this out, and we're going to see exactly how this works. So he comes out, right? And I already know he's gonna come from the left. I hear him, I see him. We fight him a little bit. instantly has to retreat. What does this do? This makes it so his entire, why did she put down a bubble? Oh, maybe Squirrel Girl got blasted. But this makes it so the entire team, well, the healers have to look at Black Panther, right? This is the only thing that can help. And if his team hears me, he has to turn too, right? This guy's on his way. They hear me. Captain America is very, very loud. So all this attention is going to be focused on me while their team is pushing forward. See? Now, because we damaged him, he has to stall his plan. Now, you could say, well, this is just how dive tanks work. No. Trust me, it's conceptual. I will explain the concept as a Magneto and Strange in a second. Let me just get through this, all right? So he is now out of the game for a little bit. This means that my team has time to play without the Black Panther. And let's just say we delayed him, I don't know, by 5 seconds. Right? That's a lot of time. If we continuously do this throughout the entire round, that is going to add up. We're looking to delay them. We're looking to make it so that they can't play the game. So now he's out. I mess with his team a little bit. And I follow Black Panther again once he starts moving. Because he's back in the game again, right? He just got healed. I'm following this guy. Why am I following this guy? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? If I do this, he's going to start getting panicky. He's going to start getting pretty erratic, and he's not going to know what to do. What are you going to do when something's in your face the entire time? A lot of the times that divers end up being successful is because the diver gets away with whatever they want to get away with. You have to be very proactive. A lot of players in this game, no matter low rank or high rank, are very reactionary. What they like to do is they like to wait for something to happen and then react to it. If you wait for a character like Black Panther to do something, he is most likely going to be successful. Why? Because he wants to get in a nice juicy spot. And when he's ready to go in, he's so hard to hit, you can't do anything about it. But when is Black Panther vulnerable? When he's not attacking somebody. So this is why I can get on this guy and chase him around. If he has to run from me, then what's going to happen? He's going to use his abilities and he's delaying himself even further. Right? If he gets low, he has to go back and get healed. He never has a chance to do what he wants to do. This is the concept that I want to explain to you guys, is that you're preventing the dive from happening. That is how you beat divers. Now, if there's multiple, you can only really do what you can do. You're only one player. So you want to think about who the best player is on their team and figure it out, right? So let's just say there's a Black Panther here, and then they had a Magic over there. Like, over here. Well, if Black Panther is getting all the KOs, I'm focusing on Black Panther, and then when he's out the game, I'll focus my attention on the Magic and kind of alternate between the two and things like that, right? It's about being a good team player. It's not about carrying the match. Remember, there's no such thing as a carry. You need to be a good team player. So I'm getting this guy away. He has no clue what to do. He's just running all over the place, and I'm just on him. Right? Eventually, he gets low and he gets KO'd. Now, is this player bad? No. I just played it. I just forced him into a spot that he has no control over. And that's what happens when you play against divers. So let's go back and let's see why we got this. He was getting away, right? But look at his HP. I was able to tag this dude once. If you look at it, boom. Almost 50 HP. So he's looking for a KO while I'm on this guy. He has to be really fast, so he missed. She's just trying so hard, but I'm on him now. Like, I stopped, I knocked him in the air. What can he do? He's like hemmed up right now. He can't do anything. Now you could say, well, Poppin, he was going to get KO'd anyway. But imagine if this guy had 50 more HP to like survive with. He might get out here. Now, of course, I'm on him, so it's not happening. But let's just say I got him low enough, but someone stopped me. And I couldn't chase him anymore. And our Cloak and Dagger was the only saving grace to KO this target. But because he had 50 more HP than he had before I hit him, he survives this, walks out, and gets healed, and plays the game again. That's the type of thing you want to avoid. And this is why I said it's really important for you to get them before they do anything. Because they have two options. A, they get chunked out or take damage and go for the play anyway. If they do that, they get KO'd. Let's actually just write this down real quick when you mess with them. We're going to make this really, really transparent. So if you do damage to them, they have two options, right? What are the two options? Go in at disadvantage because they have less HP, right? less HP, or fall back and get healed equals stalled. You're basically saying, I'm stalling you out. Now, when they get low like this is really good for us because that's one attempt they can't make, right? If he's here and getting ready to go in and I get him out and he has to retreat, that's one attempt he can't make, right? And if I keep doing that, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. As I said, not only is it adding time to the clock, but it's just deterring this guy. It's like a bully. Divers are pretty much like bullies. If there's no one to stop the diver from doing what they want to do and they get away with it every single time, there's no caution. They don't care. They don't approach differently. They don't think about it. They just go in 1, 2, 3, 4, and just keep doing the same thing over and over. But what happens when someone stands up to that bully and there's no other way the bully can behave? They end up doing what this player did. They end up swapping to another character. Again, it's not to say the guy is bad. It's just to say I played the situation better than him at this point. All right, so let's say we're playing Doctor Strange or Magneto. In this scenario or group, doesn't really matter. We're playing something ranged, all right? Y'all get me. In this scenario, where are they most likely going to come from? And we talked about this already, right? You have option A, B, or C. When we're defending points, usually players default and they like to sit where our thing is sitting. Most players just default sitting in these 2 locations when they're defending. They don't have a lot of proactive areas. And this is what I mean. You need to be very proactive when it comes to dealing with divers. It doesn't matter if you're a tank, a healer, or DPS. Be proactive to prevent them from doing what they want to do. In this scenario, you guys will probably see me in my replays or on my streams. I tend to sit up here because I want to see what's happening. It's a way to scout. If I know that they have a dive character, but the dive character is going this way instead of this way, then I know I can play it a little bit differently. I'll drop down and head to my right. However, if the dive character is popping this way, like I see him kind of go this way, or I don't see him run out, like let's just say Black Panther went to the left and I didn't see him run out, I'll hear him and I'll know he's over here. Then from this point, what do? I go up here and I start fighting him. I'm not going to chase because I'm playing Strange, Magneto. You know, I need to be around with my team if they need me, but I'm going to make it so that you can't get past me. What this does is, again, tells them you're not doing something that I don't want you to do unless you outplay me, unless you're better than me. And in order for them to do that, they have to start critically thinking about how to do it. Most of the time, divers don't really critically think unless they are very good at playing that character. That sounds pretty harsh to say, but if you guys have ever watched a diver, whether it be on your team or the enemy, they tend to just do the same approach over and over. And if someone can prevent that approach from happening, they just swap. But a really good diver knows how to approach it differently. And so the concept that I want you to understand when it comes to playing against divers as a tank is that they can't 1v1 you. There's not one DPS in this game that can straight up 1v1 a tank, period. Unless you just do something crazy, like out of character, and they get you. You might get low, but you're not going to get KO'd. The goal is not to KO the Panther. The goal is not to KO the Magic. It's just stopping them. That's all, because they're going to have to get low and retreat, or they're going to try to dive with no HP, and my team will be able to secure that because they got less HP to work with, right? Now, let's just say, okay, we get pushed off because the team pushes forward. We get pushed off. What do? Well, if we get pushed off when we're hanging back here as Magneto or Strange or Groot or whatever, right? What do we do from this point? It's the same thing. It's the same concept. What you're doing is you're looking for their point of interest. The point of interest for a lot of players when it comes to playing these characters, oops, too far, is usually this. This is their point of interest. So they'll either come from here, looking for a KO like he did on that Cloak and Dagger. They may come from here. They may come from here. They may try to come from here. They may try to come from here. And then they may try to come from there or like behind us or something. But remember, how do they get to that point? They only get to that point by coming through the middle, to the side, or behind us. If we get shoved down and we're sitting here, we should still have our eyes open to the left. Should we hear or see the player, then we approach them. So let's just say I'm doing my thing. defending, boom, boom. And let's just say that the enemy team is literally right here. They're not way back there. They're right here. And I'm holding them and doing my best. And I hear the Black Panther, or I turn my eye and I see the Black Panther just sitting there. What do? I'm going to get off of this area and push that Black Panther or that magic and do some damage. From this spot, they only have a way, the only way they can get healed is by getting a health pack there, or possibly have to run back to their team somehow. If their team is right here and I made it so they had half HP and we fight at this point, their team gets KO'd before the Black Panther or the magic was able to do anything. Your goal is to just move them away. It's to get them out. That's all you have to do. You do not need to KO the target. This is why I say sitting and playing like the Thing or playing Penny, these characters are cool, but if you don't know how to play these characters, Emma Frost, you're going to get dumpstered by the diver because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And as I said before, if you have multiple divers, what are you going to have to do? Well, if I'm playing Magneto, right, and Magic is over here, and we see her, but Black Panther's up there, if the Black Panther, again, is the one getting all the KOs, he is priority number one. I'm going to probably round the corner to the left and just smack this guy with some shots first. Once I do that and he starts backing away a little bit, I will then rotate back and start smacking Magic with some shots. Remember, they cannot KO you, especially if healers are pocketing you, right? If I'm right here and my healers are there and they're healing me and I'm running at Magic, in what world is she one-shotting a tank? In what world is a Black Panther one-shotting a tank? I can smack this as Doctor Strange, or I probably wouldn't do it if his team is right there, so that's troll. But I'm just saying, let's say they reset and I see Black Panther there. I'll smack that, walk up, and start messing with Black Panther, forcing him out. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to force these characters out so our team can play the game. Now, if you get overwhelmed by divers, unfortunately, your team is supposed to know how to deal with them. Like, I don't always try to defend my team against divers how I do with Cap, as you just seen, or if I'm with Magneto or Strange. I don't do it all the time because I expect them to know what to do. But honestly, recently I've been doing it more often because a lot of the supports, even at high rank, don't really understand how to play against divers. A lot of them are they just have the excuse of we need Peel, otherwise we can't play. And that's so far from the truth, and that's why I made that video in the link in the description below, because you just need to play a better strategist. Once you play better, you're not going to be dove as much. Divers only keep diving you because you're easy. The harder you are to catch, or the harder you are to get to, the less likely they're going to dive you over and over. They're just going to switch to somebody else. That doesn't matter if they're a tank or a DPS. So what is the concept that I'm trying to teach you guys? I'm trying to teach you guys that you need to figure out the points of interest for these dive characters, and you need to be proactive and push them out. If every map has this, by the way, domination, convoy, whatever, every map has it. If we get pushed back and we lost the point, how do we play from here? Well, let's zoom out real quick and think about the points of interest. The points of interest, most likely going to be from here because they can come down and like do something, or wrap around here, right? The other one could be coming through there, wrapping around through the back, or coming through the middle. Obviously, no diver should be coming through the middle, so that's not going to happen. For the most part, they're coming from the left or they're coming from the right. As a Magneto or Doctor Strange or whatever, I'm going to be chilling here. Now, I am vulnerable to the right, but this is okay because I'm able to, again, fight anybody who comes here. Tanks can tanks can 1v1 any character. If they decide to squat up and come like this, well, then obviously your team is right there and we just fight this fight. If you really do get pushed back, though, just walk back. Right? Just walk back. You can even hit this so that they can't shoot you and just walk back and let them take that space and readjust, right? But sitting in a spot like this allows you to be able to focus on whoever decides to come through this doorway, focuses on whoever decides to come across. If they come across, just hit him. Doctor Strange has very good range. People think he's a melee character. This dude can hit you from a range and it will hurt as long as he hits you. And yeah, you just bully him out. If they come from there, bully him out. And you're chilling. You're staying here. You're staying here. You're staying here. Most of the time, though, if you're Strange or Magneto, you can just walk to your team with your shield up and you're chilling. Like, it's not that serious, but be proactive. Think about the points of interest. Again, every single map has points of interest for these divers to access your backline. It doesn't mean it's your job only to deal with divers, but in a solo queue environment, your goal is to be the best team player you can be. It's not to be the carry. Sometimes your teammates are not going to be that great and they can't handle divers. So you're going to have to be more proactive and deal with them yourself. However, sometimes I had games where there's a Spider-Man and a Black Panther and my backline is chilling. They KOing them and I'm like, I ain't got to do nothing this game. That's my type of game. And, you know, sometimes it really just depends. But it's not about I lose the game because my team sucks. No. You lose the game because you're not good enough to compensate for your team. It doesn't matter what rank you're in, high rank, low rank, one above all, whatever. There's going to be people on your team that aren't as good as the people on the enemy team. That's just how ladder games work. For someone to be winning, someone has to be losing. For someone to be climbing, someone has to be demoting. That's just how it works on a ladder. So for you to think your team is going to be star players all the time and the enemy team is going to be bad and that's how you win, or vice versa, you lose because enemy team has star players. No, you lose because you failed to understand what was the problem during that match and how to act. That's why you lost. So again, points of interest are going to be the best way to prevent the divers from getting to your team. The only way divers really are successful is once they start perching up in little spots for them to get the attacks. Once the diver is here, well, that's free food for the diver. But we waited. We were being reactionary. We're waiting for the team, the Panther, to do something. We should have prevented him from getting there in the first place. We need to figure out the points of interest and push them out. That is going to be how you deal with divers as a tank. Remember, as I said before, if you are a strategist player, I do have a video on how to deal with divers as a strategist, and I also have a video on how to deal with specific divers and what they look for. Both of those videos in the description below. And if this is something that you're still struggling with in your games and you're still having divers just ruin your backline, or you're a strategist and the divers are ruining your games and stuff like that, I highly recommend checking out the free replay reviews that I do, link in the description below, or check out the coaching option. I also have a link in the description below for that as well, or click the join button down below and you can see the coaching options there. Sometimes all it takes is a point in the right direction and you'll start skyrocketing into your ranks. So if you do struggle on any concepts that you see on my channel, those are the best bets to get your personalized coaching or personalized review to help improve your personal gameplay. I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. Will often.